guys, welcome back to Tom Mod's Things. Today, I think you can probably guess by the fact that this is outside, but we got some mega news. Basically, been working away in the background, finishing up a few little bits, and the 106 project you see behind me. If you haven't followed the build, follow the playlist, which I'll put up in the video and also in the description. But it has passed its MOT. Amazing. So 17 years off the road this car has been abandoned in a barn, and over the past year we've been rebuilding it to effectively bring it back on the road and bring a bit of happiness and joy and just hilarity to people that see it driving past, and it did it first time, no dramas whatsoever. There's a couple of small little bits, like there's a small exhaust leak through a gasket, but other than that, absolutely flew through. I mean, frankly, we replaced everything on it anyway, so I was going to be surprised if it really failed on some sort of major stuff, because we just redid the whole thing. But yeah, as you can tell, mega excited. So yeah, plan of action today is we are going to take it out for a bit of a spin. We're going to go to some of the typical places of meets of max power era cars, which we'll see in a sec. And then we're going to go and we're going to do a full walk round of the car, exactly what's been done to it. It's like a sort of at least a final phase one type thing to kind of show everybody kind of what the final result looks like. Yeah, mega excited. Let's crack on. Right guys, first trip, basically first stop off on the daily rounds today, and I mean, I think if you guys could guess max power era, where would you go? This will definitely come up as at least one of your top 5, so here, Halford, way. So we needed to pick up some coolant and stuff for the car. Also wanted a little toolkit for the car as well. You know, it's old and it's French, and so and it's very custom as well. So inevitably bits and bobs are going to go wrong over time. So kind of good to have like a little toolkit in the car just in case it's the odd thing that you can sort out yourself. So anyway, we have finished up here. We are getting looks from a lot of people at the moment, basically looking what the bloody hell is this car with the crazy colour and stuff. But we are gonna head out and go and see if we can find some place to take some nice photos. Right, so here we go guys. Thought we'd just stop off en route, just pulled over at the side of the road, just to kind of go through really this whole build, because this has been a pretty mental process from start to finish. It's still got a few little bits that we need to sort out. We're just saving up some cash and stuff at the moment to get that sorted. You know what cars are like, they're just really expensive all the time. So yeah, this is it. So this basically, for all you people that have just joined the channel or maybe haven't seen the whole build process from start to finish, I'd recommend doing it, because it shows sort of a real progression from start to finish as to kind of exactly the amount of work that's gone on this car, which frankly is a hell of a lot. This was completely abandoned for 17 years with no MOT, just sticking around in someone's barn. We have effectively rejuvenated and sort of re-evolved this car into what you see at the moment. You guys as well obviously were heavily involved in it, so we had choices and stuff that were happening along the way for basically you guys to join in and to pick certain aspects of the car and help sort of craft what is a pretty mental looking thing at the moment. So to kind of go through kind of exactly what you see in front of you, this is a Peugeot 106. It's an XS model. It's a 1.6 and that engine is out of a Mark 1 VTR Saxo. Quite a rare model, not a huge amount of them still sort of on the road and stuff, because the 1.6 VTR engine as well. It's at least got a little bit of poke, and it's not your typical 1.1 Warrior, which is great. So as you can see, just initially is the crazy colour. So this was actually selected by you lot as to what colour you wanted to see a max power car in. So this is a wrap, which is by a brand called Oracle. Wrapping Masters over in Bristol. Andy, the main man, is the one who actually did the work on it. But if you wanted the colour, it's a ultraviolet flip or something on those lines. I'll find the details and I'll chuck it in the description if you're interested in this particular colour for your car. It's the gloss version of it, so it gives it a little bit more depth, which I quite liked, because flip paints back in the day were the just absolute bomb, and you also had to have a huge amount of money to be able to afford to do it. So this is just one of those ways of being able to achieve a sort of a really deep and interesting colour for a lot less money than what you would pay for it if you were to do it in full paint. And I would say, I think you would agree that it looks pretty sick. I mean, Andy's done a pretty mental job, to be fair. It's pretty amazing what he's managed to achieve with such sort of curvature and crazy shapes and stuff, to be able to get sort of a flat sheet of vinyl and be able to just lay it on a car and get all the little intricate areas. I mean, he's a master at his work. So anyway, yeah, hit him up. Wrapping Masters Bristol. You need any wrapping work done in southwest, definitely the person to go to. So yeah, that's colour. Then moving on to kind of the body kit, which is kind of a mixed match of a lot of things. So we've got Car Zone, back in the day company, over fenders, side skirts, rear fenders, going into, I think it's an ADX or a Cypher front bumper. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. I did get told, but I've forgotten. So if any of you guys know exactly what it is, then do mention it in the comments. And then as we come round to the back, we've got, I believe this was a Car Zone rear bumper as well, V1 or no, V2 I think, and so that kind of does the body. Then we've got a Velocity Corsa B rear wing, so we picked this up and some work had already started on it. We finished it off, put the top blade on as well, so it's not just the Pikachu ears. So this top blade is actually off of my Porsche GT2 rear wing, so we weren't going to use it. So what we did is we blended it into that. So as you can see, oh, look at that blendage, blended it in. And also nuts as well, how the hell did you wrap, like how did Andy wrap this without it looking terrible? I mean, yeah, mental. Like, I mean, yeah, it speaks of his workmanship. Then we've got smoothed rear tailgates. So as you can see, there's no buttons, no badge, no nothing. Even the apertures have also been welded over. So they've been welded over, and we've got ourselves a set of motorcycle rear lights. So outside on, rear two brake lights, then there's a third brake light that sits up here as well. Now some of you are going to be looking at this and going, well, how the hell did you get into the boot? Well, so what we did is we wired in this little button. Oh, and I've turned it off. But anyway, so you basically, once the keys are in the ignition, you press this, it pops it, you can open the boot, which is pretty sick. And I think it just tidies up that whole thing anyway and still allows you access to the rear boot. Then indicators, you might ask. Some people would think, oh, they're going to be in the lights, but these are motorcycle brake lights, so they're not going to have the indicators built into them. So what have we done instead? So if we come down here and have a look here, what we've got is the indicators built into the rear bumper. And what I'll do is I'll just quickly come around here and I'll put the hazards on, and then you can see exactly these working. So as we come down here, sequential, and then on the other side as well, same business, which I think is pretty sick, to be fair. I was well happy with that as the little thing that we did for that. Then coming around the side, you can see completely smoothed off and shaved door handles. So these aren't here anymore, they're just gone completely, nothing there. So what we did instead is we've got these baller M3 chrome mirrors. I mean, M3 mirrors were it back in the day, but when you go chrome, you're sort of next tier max power car. So what we've done with this, and if you can just look just there, we wired in door poppers. So that's how you access the car, is through the wing mirrors on there, and then that kind of gives you your entry point. Now you might wonder, oh, hang on, door doesn't open any further than that. Now we need to replace the struts because these ones were just not man enough. However, what we do have is, there we go, Lambo doors. So they go vertical, which is pretty sick. I mean, that is tiered max power goodness as well. So definitely what you wanted to have on your car back in the day. Then moving on, so now what we are blessed with here are some amazingly rare wheels that are called Momo Twins. Now I believe, from what I've been told, they were fairly expensive back in the day, so not a lot of people ran them. Usually you'd run them on a Ford, and not many people, if at all, ran them on Peugeots. Now I think you'd agree that they look absolutely sick, and so what we've done is we've had to space them out by 20mm because they were a 35 ET offset, and we needed it to be 15 for the wheels, but they're 17 inch, 7J wide, and they are just awesome. So I'd love to get these chromed, to be honest. So what we've done is we've done a quick refurb on them just to tidy them up a little bit, just to make sure that it's just sort of presentable. There's definitely a few blemishes on them, as you can see just at the top there's a little nick and bits and bobs, and the centre caps need redoing. But for a start on what is effectively a budget build as well, because you have to remember this is fairly budget. We've not actually put a huge amount of money into this. It's all been second-hand parts, me sourcing and scouring through Facebook Marketplace and then building it all in the garage myself. so you got no labour costs or build costs from other companies, so we managed to keep the overall cost relatively low. And then as we come round to the front again, we've got this bad boy bonnet with a huge vent in the top. This was actually already on the car when we got it, so I've got absolutely no idea what this vent actually has come from or what the branding is. But then we got in touch with a Cosy, and they had some of these old new stock sitting around in their workshop that they managed to just sort of find out the back somewhere. It was the only set they had. They put it on their website for a crazy low price, and so we just had to snap them up. And I think really these lights just really set it off. I just think they're perfect, like just with the angle and everything down here. I just think that whole front end is just sorted by that. And then standard chrome bits, we've got some chrome windscreen wipers and other bits and bobs as well. Right, so I guess coming now round and then into the inside of the car, what we're going to do is we're going to have a look through into the interior. So the interior, we've done a bit of basic at the moment, and ignore all this. This is just stuff that I'm travelling around with at the moment because this car's a little bit untested. So we've gone for Momo steering wheel. We've then silver painted quite a lot of the interior, just to tart it up a little bit. What we got, the standard like bad boy chrome floor mats, max power pedals, little keychain, got Momo shift knob and boot and everything. And then as you can see, these seats are not your standard Saxo seats. So these actually came out of my Porsche Cayman. So we had these knocking around in the garage because we've got Sparco racing seats in that. And I think you'll agree, they fit pretty damn good, to be honest. I mean, it's almost as if they were made for the car. What's quite good is Cayman, obviously they're quite narrow on the inside because of everything on the outside, and so they fit into this small car absolutely perfectly. So yeah, badass. We've got our standard replacement windscreen window winders and stuff. Let's see if we get in focus again. And then yeah, that really sums up a lot of the interior. If we come into the back, we haven't got it in there at the moment, but we've got a little wheel well thing in there. Let me turn the keys on and we'll open the boot. So as we come around here, opening this and then open the boot. So what we did, just for Max Power Union Show, we did have some audio and stuff all lined up. Unfortunately, by the time we pulled the trigger on it, they'd already sold it, so we had to just do something really quick just to tidy up the back, because there's just nothing in it. Because when I picked up the car, it was fully stripped. There was nothing in it. There was no windows, no nothing. So we've had to source and build and make all the stuff that you see on the car. So yeah, we just boarded it out, and then we put a little sort of cutout for one of the TSW Venoms that we've got that's brand new, just to sit in the back as a little thing. So eventually what we're going to do is we're going to have two massive subwoofers each side, load of amplifiers down the middle, TV that flips up, and then a PlayStation 2 with Need for Speed Underground 2 standard sat here, because what I'd like to do is to have this all open at shows, and then just allow people to just come over and play the games and sit in the car. I mean, that's the thing with the cars that I build. I get enjoyment out of seeing other people getting the enjoyment out of it as well. I understand that other people would love to be doing this sort of stuff, but maybe through circumstance and that just don't have like time, money, space to be able to do it. And so if I'm able to offer at least a little bit of something to sort of brighten someone's day and give them that sort of satisfaction feeling and sort of enjoying something as well, then I'm more than happy to do that. So yeah, so that's the general plan for this, is to have it all open. People can game on it, they can sit in it, they can take pictures. If someone wants to rev the shit out of it, they can do that as well. I'm not too precious, which actually leads us on to one of the bits that we need to add on to this. So those of you that saw my video at Max Power Union Show, you would have seen that we had two massive cannons on each side of here. Now they aren't on the car at the moment because they were actually just mocked up for that show. We didn't actually get to the point where obviously this was MOT'd, so we could drive it to an exhaust shop. I haven't got the skills to do that myself, so was going to get somebody else to get both of them lined up properly and all looking perfect. So that is on the list of things to do. As soon as that's done, the standard exhaust pipe can come off because it sounds a bit wet at the moment, even though we've got a 4-into-1 manifold up front. We've got the standard centre and the cat and everything on it, which we'll keep, but the back box and stuff, the standard back box needs to go, and we need to get two big chrome boys out the back. And I guess finally is the lowered stuff. So as you can see, it's pretty damn slammed. It's low, it's bouncy, it's scarily fun, or scary and fun, I don't know, take from that what you will. But it's TA Technics coilovers, which are, I heard that they were terrible. They definitely are terrible. Would not recommend them, but we're going to make do with what we've got, because at the time, as I say, budget build, we need to keep this within a budget, but we are going to be on the lookout for some new shocks, front and back, to just kind of make this a little bit nicer to drive, because yeah, at the moment it's just minging. So it's just one of those things. You have a custom car and you have it low and stuff, and you have to kind of take the rough with the smooth, and sometimes it's going to be not as lovely to drive as it maybe would have been if it was just sort of floating around. So yeah, so there's a walk round of the Max Power 106. Actually, engine bay, quick. Right, and then coming around into the engine bay, you can see we've got the old chrome induction kit up here, which is frankly hilarious. Then what we have done, so there's not a huge amount that we've done on this, to be honest. It's a bit of a work in progress, but we've definitely tidied it up a little bit from last time. So as you saw, this is the 1.6 out of the VTR, the Mark 1. So we've got that one in there. We've got our 4:1 manifold up front. Then we've got a couple of chrome pieces that we've started to add in. So badass performance, all the sort of chrome covers and stuff that we managed to pick up, someone had in their shed. And then generally speaking, we've just kind of been tidying bits up. It's a bit dusty and stuff at the moment because it's just been sat in the garage. But at some point the idea would be that we'd want to take this whole engine out and we'd want to do like a cable tuck of all the bits. So what I'd love to have is to have a lot of this stuff hidden. So there's a lot of like cables and stuff down this side, which I'm sure we could tuck away. This battery we could definitely relocate into the boot, and then that means that we can have like an induction down here instead of tucked through here, which then means we can add the mesh onto this again, and then sort of that all starts to work for us. So yeah, but at the moment engine's sort of running, touch wood, and everything's sort of okay with it, so we're not going to piss around with it too much because it's not broke, so there's no point sort of messing with it and potentially breaking it. So yeah, that is the engine. So yeah, so that's a walk round of the Max Power 106. Yeah, it's MOT'd, it's on the road, and it's going to be at local meets and shows and stuff, and just whenever we get a chance. Obviously being new dad and stuff, it's difficult to get out all the time, but we're doing our best and we're making do, and obviously we managed to build this car while all that was going on, so I'm sure we can get it to work for us. But yeah, stay tuned, because now this is sorted, this is now going to go over to the other storage, and what is over there at the moment is the top 100 Max Power Saxo. So now that this is sorted, MOT'd, we can drive this over there, then we can get the Saxo, bring it over to the garage, and then we can really start to start working on it, which is going to be mental, because that's going to be a fun build as well. And we're going to get both of them together and driving over to Max Power Reunion Show 2023. Check out them, their website's going to be down below. Tickets are on sale, they're 15 quid at the moment for the show, which I think is pretty good, to be honest. And that's as a show car. If you just come as a spectator as well, I think it's a little bit cheaper, but it's been a mental show the past 2 years. It's only going to get better, and this year's set to be really, really special because they've got some really cool stuff that they're bringing to the table. So yeah, definitely go check it out, get your tickets, come say hello and stuff, and that will be awesome. Right, so that's going to be it from me today. Come out, seen the 106, it's working, it's running. We're going to start bringing you more content with the 106. I'll be taking it to work and bits and bobs at the weekend, and just generally getting it out and about when I can. It's a bit of a palaver to get out of the garage. You have to get loads of wood down and all the rest of it, but you know, some of you guys that have low cars, you know what it's like. So yeah, cheers everyone for watching, stay tuned for more content, and I will see you guys on the next one.